Yeah, like a lot of people, I was really touched and really moved by Charlie Kirk's assassination. And like you, I'm sure, I just went to prayer with that burden and was just praying all day. What was it, Wednesday, the 10th? And that carried into the night. I was praying before I went to bed. And when I went to bed, it was no surprise to me that I had a few prophetic dreams. The first, I would classify it as two dreams, or two scenes, but of course I believe they're related. But in the first one, I saw Charlie Kirk, and I saw him standing behind a pulpit. But I knew this wasn't like a preaching pulpit that we would see in a church. It reminded me of like a political pulpit. And we know one of the distinguishing features of a political pulpit is it usually has a sign on the front. But this sign didn't have words on it. It didn't have a slogan. All it had was a number, and the number was 7,000. And there was some other stuff happening behind him that I couldn't really make out clearly. But one thing I made out clearly was another number, and it was the number 28. And immediately, I just knew that the 7,000 and the 28 referred to the story of Elijah in scripture. So I went to 1 Kings 19, and of course, this is the scripture where this number is mentioned. The Lord told Elijah in 1 Kings 19, verse 18, "Yet I have reserved 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed to Baal, and every mouth that has not kissed him." So, of course, the significance of that scripture and that story was Elijah had taken a stand. He had treaded onto Jezebel's territory, and he had worked a great victory. God had worked a great victory through him in confronting those false prophets, hundreds of them. But then there was a hit that was put out on him, and he had to run for his life. And he paid a price, but ultimately he was, I believe, in scripture, the breaker for that time, and he was the only one that was seen standing on Mount Carmel. But yet through that, God revealed 7,000 more, and I believe that the Lord brought forth 7,000 more that were in the waiting. So I believe that Charlie Kirk had a significant, not only cultural assignment, political assignment, but a prophetic assignment to pioneer going into these demonic powers territory, because they have laid claim to our educational institutions, right? Right. I mean, I would say since the 1960s, those institutions have been captured and they've laid claim to them. But when Charlie would go in just year after year, and he would have these very powerful exchanges, many times going viral, he was treading on these spirits' territory. And of course, that can be dangerous. Just like with Elijah, there was a hit that was put out on him. And I want to emphasize, Wanda, it doesn't matter where that hit came from in the natural. It could just be, this young boy, and it's completely isolated, or there could be other things involved. I'm not here to speculate on that, but we know there's always a conspiracy in the spirit realm, right? I mean, we're Christians. We believe that there's a demonic general named Satan that's behind an army of darkness that is conspiring to take key people out in the church, as well as key people in culture who are making a difference. So I believe that's why Charlie Kirk was targeted, and why ultimately he lost his life. But I believe ultimately the Lord is saying he's going to bring forth thousands more. I believe that's what the 7,000 meant.
Yeah.